My name's Lois DiStefano. I'm the Director of Marketing and Sales here at Kendal on Hudson. I'd like to introduce to you today Mary Kate McLaughlin, who is our sales counselor. Give him a wave, Mary Kate.
Good morning.
There you go. And Joey Starr, who is our marketing coordinator. And he earns his name every day because Joey Starr is a star. He's probably helped and spoken to most of you. I hope that everybody has their long underwear on and a good cup of tea. We've been battling this cold, but today is going to be a great day because I'm hoping to introduce you to some really valuable information about Kendal on Hudson. We have these seminars annually to start the year, give a fresh look at what a CCRC is, what does Kendal do, all the fundamentals. And we call it Senior Living 101 just for that reason. But I'm going to kick it up a notch today, and I want to call it Senior Living 201. Yeah, that's what it is, 201. So I there's a new light that I want to shine on here, and that is that a life care contract at a life plan community is a financial tool. So besides learning what Kendal is all about, how does it compare to other options you may have? I want to fully prepare you because people that are visiting us today might be here for the very first time and are starting to uh, look around. What are my options? There may be people who we've been speaking to. There may be people on our wait list. I mean, so we have a wide range of interests and knowledge. So that's why I want to bring this other piece into it. And today I want to share with you what you should be aware of when you are searching. I want to make you fully prepared to walk into any senior living community and know what to ask. So let's start with just some fundamentals. Continuing Care Retirement Community, or CCRC, that term's been around for a long time, is a community that has independent living and a continuum of care. Throughout the country, there are close to 2,000 CCRCs that are licensed by the state that they're in. And each state has a different set of regulations. However, no matter where you are, there is a universal contract offering that's called Type A, Type B, or Type C. It doesn't matter what state you're in, but that's all the same. So a Type A contract is called a life plan contract. This is a contract where from the moment that you move into the CCRC, you are contributing to your future care. And that means that you're going to start off with tax deductions from the moment that you arrive. There's going to be a portion of your entrance fee that's going to be fully tax deductible the first year that you're a resident. And then every year, you're going to get a letter from the community telling you how much of your monthly service fee will be tax deductible. And these are all medical deductions. So number one, you're going to have a tax deduction. Number two is you're going to have predictable costs. And if you tell any financial planner that you're going to have predictable costs, they're going to be very excited, because where do you get that? You're not going to get that living at home or anywhere else. And why are they predictable? They're predictable because whatever you're paying for your monthly fee is going to be what you pay if you should need the care in assisted living or skilled nursing or memory care. The cost doesn't go up. That also gives you asset protection. So when you have a Type A community, you're able to know if you have enough money for your retirement for 10, 20, 30 years. So that's the Type A. Now I'm going to jump to a Type C. A type C is called a fee-for-service contract. You don't get the tax deductions from day one. You only get the tax deduction if and when you're occupying assisted living, memory care, or skilled nursing. The fee-for-service means that when you do need a higher level of care, you will pay whatever that prevailing rate is. So it's unpredictable, and it is whatever rate that it is, that's what you're subject to. So that's a type C contract. Now I'll go in the middle, which is a B. A B is like a hybrid of the two, where for maybe 6 months or so, you're going to have your same rate as your monthly service fee, and then it will move to a higher rate. So those are the three general contract types, A, B, and C. Any licensed CCRC can offer you an A, B, or C contract. It all depends how the community has designed themselves. Here at Kendal, we only offer type A contracts, whereas at the Knolls in Valhalla, they only offer type C contracts. There is a possibility with a certain add-on that you could get an A, but you're going to have to ask those questions. So if you're visiting other places, you have to ask them, what type of contracts are you offering? And is it a full life care type A contract, or is it a fee for C, pay as you go contract? So that's a fundamental right there. Within those contracts, there's going to be different offerings at different communities. There'll be refundables, there'll be non-refundables, and each community is going to develop its own. And later in today's presentation, you're going to see what we offer here. So that's your first fundamental. The next part is why I love type A contracts is because I think that your retirement is like it is based on the three-legged stool concept. You have a financial planner, you have an estate attorney who work with you over the years to develop your retirement finances to reach your retirement goals. But where's the third leg of the stool? And the most logical one is a place with a type A contract, because it's also a financial tool. Your financial planner is working with you with financial tools. Your estate attorney is working with you with financial tools. And a community with type A contracts is giving you a financial tool that weaves within all of the other plans that you made over time. So that is the big takeaway. I wanted to say it first, and now we can start rolling into the program, and I'm going to share my screen with you.
You're muted, Lois.
Beautiful picture. Grass is green here. So we took this one in the summer. It looks like spring. Okay, so here's a little clue. At any time during this presentation, you can click the little raise the hand button that you need something from the host, and someone will connect with you. Or the really best option is the question and answer. It says Q&A. Type in your question, and Mary Kate and Joey can answer you as we're going through this presentation today. So those are our little checklists here. All right, here we go. So goals, right? You've been working on goals for retirement with various people for a long time. And what are they? Do you want to remain independent? Is it financial security? There's many things that, and different things for everybody, because this is not a cookie cutter approach. What do you want? for your long-term retirement. And what nudges us? Like what starts poking at us to say, hey, we better get up and going with this. Our health could change. Maybe you live in California and your kids live here in Terrytown and you want to be closer to them. Isolation. If you're feeling isolated, that's awful, and we all went through that with COVID, so we know how awful that is. Home maintenance starts to build. I always say we own a home for a long time, and then the home starts to own you. And I'm sure we can all understand what that means. So there's risks involved in the aging process that are little signs to say, well, maybe we should start moving forward to our goals. So how do you make this plan? Okay. And you've got to work at this. You have to sit down and really talk about it. So we look here of when we're making the plan, we ask ourselves, who's going to care for me? Where is the care going to be? And how do I pay for it? Big question. How do I pay for it? So let's look at the options. Stay where you are. They call that aging in place. That's pretty big today. So who's going to care for you? Well, you most likely will need to have some assistance in the home. And as you age, you're going to need more. It may be personal assistance. It may be care, future care around the home for maintenance. So it's going to be everything involved in maintaining your home and you in the same place. And how do you pay for it? Well, maybe you have long-term care insurance. And if you have an aide, there is most likely, you're going to have to look at your policy, but there is most likely a clause that will say that you can get some funds there to pay for the aid. What's another one? You can live at home, or better yet, you can live with your kids. I know that you really like this one, so let's talk about it. First, the kids have to buy into this too, and is it realistic? And in all seriousness, is your child's home equipped for you? Are there stairs? What are the challenges with making that change? And is there a member that will stay with you at home, or are you involved in seeking more help? A real good first step is downsizing to a smaller home. When you really think about it, if you have a large home with lots of bedrooms, how much of it are you really using? Most of it, it's your bedroom, kitchen, living room. We're even getting away from dining rooms these days. So we're using less space in our home, and we really have to say, well, what would fit my needs better? Getting rid of stuff is a good thing too. It'll only weigh heavy on your shoulders, I would say. It's good to downsize at any time in your life. So when you downsize, maybe you'll go to a condo or a co-op or apartment where there's elevators and things. You're going to have to take a good look at the setup for that. And do you have, if you sell your home, where will you put the investments and stuff to maintain the rent that you're paying? And if you have an aide, again, long-term care insurance could help. So the fourth option is looking at a CCRC. Today, and you're going to hear me call this, we say it a lot simpler. They're called life plan communities. So Kendal is a life plan community with life plan type A contracts. You can have life plan communities with type C contracts also. So don't let the word life plan just give you an assumption that, you're going to get the type A. You have to ask. So who cares for you? at a life plan community? Well, there's a lot of staff and there's a continuum of care. It happens you'll have independent living, then there's assisted living, memory care, skilled nursing. In skilled nursing is subacute rehab with physical therapy. Let's say you have a hip replacement, knee replacement. You can then get your physical therapy in short-term rehab in the nursing home, and then you go back to your apartment. So it's a very, very easy and already thought of process. And then how do you pay for it? Well, there's an entrance fee and a monthly service fee. And you've been working on your plan for this for a long time. Usually what you like to do is have the sale of your home pay for the entrance fee for a nice, smooth, and seamless financial transition. So what is specific about Kendal on Hudson? So we are a life care, life plan community. I think that most of you have seen in the Times and other papers that there was a community in Long Island, the Harborside, who is filing for bankruptcy. And you're wondering, well, how does that happen? Well, again, questions that you have to ask when you are visiting any community is, what is your financial stability? Well, speaking to Kendal's financial stability, we are rated by a rating firm called Fitch. Fitch largely rates the healthcare industry. It's a very rigorous process. And the very first time that we were accepted, because you have to apply to even be accepted to be rated, we were designated with a triple B+ rating. That put Kendal on Hudson in the top 6% in the nation of financial stability. That's a very high rating for a life care community. Right now it's over 1,000 days of cash on hand. That means if there was no income coming into Kendal at all, we would be able to pay all our bills for the next 1,000 days. That's just about 3 years. Our reserve funds are fully funded. So we have reserve funds to pay our refunds for the refundable contracts. We also have a reserve fund that will pay our debts for the first year too. We have a 5-star rating in our nursing home, have had that for a long time. That's another very good designation. That means that your staffing, your compliance to the regulations, your individual care is of a way above average, in all those areas. We opened in 2005. Our 20th birthday is going to be on May 9th this year, and we're going to be celebrating. There's a lot to say for a community that has been open for 20 years with a level of occupancy like we have, which is 95%, with all of these items, cash on hand, and we are investing $33 million into renovating the common areas that will start this year, so that our property is always in the best condition. And you have to be relevant in design, in offerings today, because there are so many options. So the fact that that money goes into the community, and it largely does because we are a not-for-profit, it means that your investment here in your retirement is protected. Because when we have high occupancy and this property stays to the best of its condition, you have all the protections you need for a community that is financially safe and strong. Of course, we are on the beautiful Hudson River. The foundation of all of the Kendals was built on Kendal philosophy, and we operate with values and practices of that. That makes us quite unique from other brands of retirement communities. We are an affiliate in the Kendal system, and here is a big thing. The Kendal system, the model is called a federal system, which means that we all stand individually. We make our own decisions, and we are responsible for our finances. Kendal on Hudson is not responsible for finances for any other Kendal that's in the system. So then you say, well, why are you part of this Kendal? Well, we're part of it because we receive branding. We have a Kendal brand that includes the foundation of values and practices and things of that nature. We're offered consulting services. So every department director has a consultant at Kendal where we can go and work with best practices. And the third thing is that there's the economy of scale. All Kendal employees receive their health insurance through the Kendal Corporation. So we're able to buy things at a much better rate. When we do purchases, we purchase as a group, so we get much better rates. So for those three reasons, that's why we're on the umbrella of Kendal. But one big thing, which I liked very much, is that you only have to worry about who's running Kendal on Hudson. You don't have to worry if anybody else is doing or not doing at any other place. The Kendal brand has been actually closer to 50 years. There's 13 affiliates, and we are a very large not-for-profit organization. We also are very close to New York City, and we have Phelps Hospital right next door. So when I talk about the life care, life care contracts here, which is in our life plan community, here's the advantages again. So you have asset protection that we spoke about. You get your long-term care. You have predictable costs, uncompromised lifestyle. You have a tremendous independent lifestyle. Peace of mind. You know, people, they say that people live 7 years longer in a life plan community because you don't have the stress. Tax advantages that we mentioned. Maintenance free. Anything goes wrong, you just put in a work order or you pick up the phone and someone is there to take care of it. Leaky faucet, change a light bulb, whatever it is. And like we said, there's a really good quality healthcare program here. So in independent living, what is life like? Well, great food. There's a meal a day. So many programs of art and music, trips. They have, so here the activities are resident initiated. So they are resident and resident run. So there's no one in administration saying you have to do anything at a particular time. Residents here, they do what they want when they want. We do not have an activities director. We do have a director of resident services. So if you need any support, anything that has questions or whatever, we do have a direct contact for you. But when it comes to programming, that happens by the residents. You know, and things kind of get popular and then unpopular. So for a while, Bridge kind of phased out. Now Bridge is a big thing again. There was a couple that moved in, and the gentleman loved grilling, and you can't put a grill on your balcony, but we have tremendous grills on the terrace that overlooks the river. And he started a grilling club. It has gotten so big and so popular, it also has gotten a little bit fancy. So now we have master grillers and sub grillers, and then people are bringing side dishes. And I mean, it's just a lot of fun. And that just popped up from nowhere. So that's the beauty of what you can do here. You can, if you can think it, you can do it. The educational courses here and program is tremendous. We have lecture series. We have visiting professors and quite knowledgeable people that bring such interesting topics to us. We also are affiliated with Pace University. You can take courses at Pace. And there's a lot of fun here. They started a skit group where now the residents are doing skits and they perform. We have a chorus. There's just, it's unending. You also get housekeeping service every other week. And every week you get linen service. Somebody will change your linens for you every week. In our resident care center, we have a visiting podiatrist, a visiting audiologist, and that's all here on premises, as well as outpatient physical and occupational therapy. Your doctor gives you a prescription, you go to the outpatient PT, OT. When you're done, you can continue with a wonderful exercise plan in our gym. We have a state-of-the-art gym. Folks, if you haven't seen it, you're missing something here big. The equipment there, I want to see anybody that's paying for a top-notch gym to compete with our equipment here. It's all AI. It's all, so when you come here, you're going to get a physical evaluation and the certain machines. We have all kinds of machines, upper body, lower body, treadmills, rowing machines, all different kinds of bicycles and stair lifts. You're going to have a program designed specifically for you, and whatever machines are in that program are going to, you're going to have where your seat has to be, where your arms have to be, and it all gets downloaded into something that looks like a wristwatch. And when you come to work out, you put your wristwatch on, you wave it in front of the screen on the machine, and all of a sudden, lo and behold, the machine automatically goes into your settings. You don't have to remember anything, but it also remembers when you visit and how you're doing. Now, maybe you might have to step up a little bit, or maybe you might have to back up a little bit, but there's a good tracking. It's a progressive program. So please, if you haven't seen the gym, you definitely have to come in to do that. So what's the fee structure here? So when we talk about the life care contract, it's broken into an entrance fee, your residential fee, and then there's the life care fee. So this is considered your long-term care insurance policy. And if you already have long-term care insurance, I'm going to tell you how that works. If you don't have long-term care insurance, you do not need it to move into Kendal. You are fully covered with a life plan contract. The third component is then there's a monthly service fee. So what you see here is the fee structure. Because we are looking at a long-term care product here, we are also licensed by the New York State Department of Finance because we're considered an insurance product. And this is something I really need you to pay attention to. When people apply to become a resident, you apply financially and medically. The medical application is very similar to when you would apply for insurance, like applying through an insurance underwriter. Even though you're living independently at home, doesn't mean you would qualify as independent at Kendal. So you think about it, if you wouldn't be able to buy an insurance policy, chances are you might not be medically qualified for Kendal. What we look at are progressive diagnoses, and progressive means a diagnosis that most likely will result in the need for long-term care in a relatively short period of time. Progressive diagnoses are Parkinson's, congestive heart failure, COPD, kidney disease, active cancer, any sort of dementia, Alzheimer's. So if you're following, where I'm going, those are progressive diagnoses. And how do we manage that? Like you're going to say, well, gee, Lois, well, if I need care, is there going to be room for me in skilled nursing when I need it? Well, the answer to that is we manage this quite well. So for the fact that people are living longer, life expectancies now are through the roof, okay? We have people living here from age 65 to 105. So originally, when life plan communities were designed, there's a continuum of care. And notice the word continuum. You go through the continuum of care. But due to extended life expectancies, the through part is a very, very much slower part. So how do we manage this? We have to be very careful of people who are moving in. If you're moving in with a progressive diagnosis, we know that in short order, you're going to need long-term care. We need to have long-term care space for people who move in without progressive diagnoses that then or later have that condition. No matter once you move in and you're approved, no matter what happens, we are going to care for you. That's our promise. So we make very sure that we are keeping a proper flow of people that are moving in so that we can constantly have the right amount of care for our residents at all times. So I mentioned to you the type of contracts that we have, and here they are. We have two types. It's called a non-refundable. I kind of like to call it a declining contract. And then there's a 50% refundable contract. So the declining contract, the entrance fee amortizes 2% a month each month for 4 years, but I'm going to be more specific. It's actually 50 months. So let's say you pay $100 for your contract. Each month that you're here, that $100 will amortize by 2% or $2. So if you say 8 months later, Lois, I want to move to Hawaii, I'm going to say, okay. So you paid $100, you're here 8 months. So that means your contract has amortized by 16%. So we're going to give you back $84. If you're here 32 months, okay, we're going to take off $64, so you'll get 36. I hope I'm doing the math right. So if you notice the pattern, the longer you're here, the less you get. But if you are here 53 months and you want to move to Hawaii, you're not going to get any money back. That's how this works. The non-refundable contract is not based on age at all. You can be any age. And in comparison to the 50% refundable contract, monthly fees are lower and the entrance fee is lower in comparison to a 50% refundable contract. So now let's focus on the 50% refundable. It works the same way. It amortizes 2% a month, but when it gets to, let's say, 25 months, That's where it puts on the brake, because at that point, you're going to be at your 50% refundable marker. It stays there for life. So if you paid $100 for your 50% refundable contract and you left after 1 year, you'd get back more than 50% because it hasn't amortized to 50% yet. So you would get more. But if you left after 55 months, you would get 50% back because that 50% is for life. There is an age requirement here. It's rates split between the under and over 85 age. So rates will be a little higher over 85, plus your monthly fees will be a little higher. So how do you pick from one or the other? You talk to your financial advisor. That's your first stop. How does this fit into where your assets are? What's your monthly income like? So the monthly service fee is going to go up every year, anywhere from 3 to 5%. So think about if you come in with a non-refundable contract, the monthly service fee is lower than the 50% refundable. And those monthly fees are going to keep increasing over time. So the 50% refundable contract is always going to be more than monthly. But over time, let's say you move in your mid 70s. Well, 15 years later, if you look at the difference that you're paying between the two contracts and the fact that you paid a higher entrance fee, maybe over 15 years, if that money was in your bank account and your financial advisor is making decisions on that money, maybe it's better for you. Those are the kinds of questions you ask. So age has a lot to do with it. I think the younger you are, people lean more towards the non-refundable contract. If you have children or not, that's another reason. Where your assets are is a third reason. They're both good contracts. Really, they're both excellent because your finances is not a cookie cutter thing here. Everybody is individual, but these contracts, the characteristics of them can be applied in many different ways that one of them will be better for you. Oops. Okay. Here's a big question. What if you have long-term care insurance? That's okay. Good idea to take a look and read it because they're all different. Some people purchased it a long time ago and it's a really stable contract. It's not expensive. There aren't changes to it. In other cases, premiums are going up. You're compromising on benefits that you would be receiving. There's all kinds of things going on. So we never tell anybody to cancel insurance. Okay, we don't do that. You have to see how this fits into the big picture. If and when you are in assisted living or skilled nursing, we will give you the supporting documents for you to make a claim to your insurance company, and your insurance benefit will go to you. We want nothing to do with it. We just continue to bill you your same monthly fee. Even if you get more money from your long-term care insurance than you're paying to Kendal, it's okay because we have nothing to do with it. In your apartment, if you want to get an aid, because there's that little gray area in the aging process where you can use a little help, but you don't need 24-hour care. So a lot of times these insurance policies will provide you with a home health aid. And you can submit a claim for that. And you're allowed to have an aid in the apartment, but it's something that you have to pay for. So to be honest with you, I haven't seen a policy that covers what we charge for long-term care. And I don't mean from our monthly fee, but I mean if somebody said, because we put a value on it, if somebody said, oh, I want to have a long-term care service at Kendal, well, it's over $22,000 a month in the skilled nursing, and it's around $13,000 a month in assisted living. You guys will never pay that because you're paying what you're paying for your monthly service fee from your contract. That's why you have predictable costs. You're going to have a locked in future for what your long-term care is going to cost you. You're going to have 100% coverage. You don't need long-term care insurance, but if you have long-term care insurance, it's an added layer of income for you at some point. There's no way to know if you're ever going to go and get care in the nursing home or anything. We don't know that, but you're buying it. You bought it for coverage, which is good, and you have it. I like to say that when we think of long-term care insurance, it's like, oh, I paid all this money for it. Well, add up what you paid for homeowners insurance, add up what you paid for car insurance. I don't think any of us would say, boy, I paid $40,000 over my life for car insurance, and I didn't have one accident to get my money back. Or, geez, I put all this money in homeowners insurance and I didn't have one flood. We don't do that. You don't want to say, oh, I paid all this money for long-term care insurance and I'm healthy. So let's think about insurance as protection and the purpose that it's there for. We have something called the financial calculator. Again, if you're wondering, well, I'm looking at the rates at Kendal on Hudson, and is this going to fit into my financial plan? And we can answer that for you because we have a software program where we can enter your assets and your income. And then you could say, Lois, I want a 2-bedroom apartment. So we'll plug in the entrance fee for a 2-bedroom apartment with a non-refundable contract. And we could do a 20, 30-year projection. And then we could plug in a 2-bedroom apartment with a 50% refundable contract. And we could see how those numbers go too. And you can compare the two of them. And this calculator is fascinating because over that 20, 30-year projection, it will consider your monthly service fee going up. It'll figure a 4% return on your assets. This is a really great tool. It's also something that your financial planner can do for you, but it's a simple Zoom call. We can sit, walk through this together, and answer a lot of questions. And the reports look like this. You'll get graphs, and you can see over time. The very first screen on the left, the red line and the blue line are 2 contracts that are being compared. The red line is the declining, the blue line is the refundable, and it shows after 22 years where your assets are. You can get it in a bar graph. Underneath, you can see that. To the right, there's another table. So it's a very, very good report. It's pretty accurate too. So how do you become a resident at Kendal? Well, the very first step is to join the wait list. The wait list is a strategy. It gives you a timestamp. So when people select an apartment, let's say an apartment becomes available, we're going to let our wait list know, hey, folks, there's a 2-bedroom apartment that opened up and it's available. For all that's interested, come and take a look. And all of a sudden, you got all kinds of people calling, making appointments, taking a look, and you're going to have more than one that's going to want it. So we make a list. We say, throw your hat in the ring, regardless of when you join the wait list. If you like something, always throw your hat in the ring. I've seen crazy things happen, but we then look at when everybody joined the wait list that is on the list that who wants the apartment. And we go to the one who's been on the wait list the longest. So getting your date stamp is important. And listen, you can come and look at apartments and not take them. It doesn't change your position in the wait list at all, ever. So your timestamp is your timestamp. It costs $2,000 deposit that goes in an interest-bearing escrow account. And then there's a $250 non-refundable application fee. So if ever you say, oh, you know what, I decided I don't want to be on the wait list anymore, we'll send you back your $2,000 with interest. So now you're on the wait list. You come in, you select an apartment, and woo, you got it. You are the winner. So now we're going to give you the applications, medical and financial. And once you're approved on both, we go to sign the contract where you leave a 10% deposit. On that day, you are a fully covered resident of Kendal. If God forbid anything happens to you, you are covered. So if let's say something happened, you fell, you broke a hip, and you needed rehab, well, you're going to get it here. We're going to take care of you. So that happens when you leave your deposit. Also, you're going to, at the contract signing, you're going to pick out the finishes for your apartment. Our apartments are beautiful. We use Kohler plumbing fixtures. We use a high-grade flooring system. The cabinets in the kitchen are of a very good quality. The appliances are all GE. We have recessed lighting, quartz countertops, non-slip flooring in the bathroom. It's just beautiful. And you get to pick out your colors, your kitchen cabinet colors. And then we also have enhancements. If you would like an electric fireplace in your apartment, you can do that too. So we have our standard renovations, which is beautiful, but then the sky's the limit for anything you want to do. So when you sign your contract, 30 to 60 days after contract signing, the balance is due, and that's when your monthly fee starts. And then you can move in. Now, you don't have to move in when you pay the balance, but that is the time period. Some people sell their homes after. Some people, I mean, for various reasons, don't move in on that date, and many people do. It's all an individual preference. So here, I love three-legged stools. So here's another one. Wherever you go to compare, retirement living, you want to answer questions about finance, and you want them to be able to answer them and rattle it off just like I did. There's something else that the state requires. They require that we have disclosure statements with financial statements on it, and those are available. We have an actuary here who lives here and said that he decided to live in New York State because the disclosure statements have better disclosure than those in Pennsylvania, which was his second choice. So he felt much more confident moving to New York because he had a better take on the financial picture. The care, I'm going to jump down to care. We spoke that we have 5-star care. That's something you really should ask of how the skilled nursing unit is rated. Our staffing is higher than the require, actually there is not a requirement, but Kendal staffing is higher in comparison to other skilled nursing homes. The culture, this is it, guys. It's not about the color of the paint on the wall. It's the people that live here. This is a community. It's okay if you don't want to partake, like you want to move here and you'd rather stay in your apartment. But the design is one of community, and it's inspiring to people. It prevents isolation. Um, if you've never picked up a paintbrush, you can do that here. If you never sang a tune, you can lip sync here if you're out of tune. But we have something for everyone. Rockwood Park right next door, beautiful walking trails. The trails are manicured. They used to be the carriage trails for the Rockefeller estate, and they are maintained. So you have wide walking paths. You have the river. The train in Tarrytown gets you to New York City in 38 minutes. The restaurants around here, oh my gosh, are delicious. And you've never experienced Halloween until you've experienced it in Sleepy Hollow. The people that live here, there's a lot of academia here. In our library, we have a huge section of books that are from Kendal authors, people that live here. We have, I have to say, I think there's a lot of type A personalities because people here are busy and they want to be busy. There's a constant yearning for learning, doing, finding something new, engaging with one another. The conversation at meals is so important too, and the bond and the friendship. Wherever you go, make sure that you meet residents so you can see the culture that's within the community. And so when it comes to the Kendal values and practices from Quaker philosophy, one program we have, there's two programs that we have. One is the Tuesday Morning Club, and the other is the Co-Pilots program that come to mind first. The Tuesday Morning Club is a group of independent living residents that gather with the assisted living residents, and they sing. There's guitar playing, bongos, there's crafts, there's conversation, there's reminiscing. It's a gathering of residents, assisted living residents who were once independent living residents, who will never be segregated from the community. The union is always going to be there. The Co-Pilots program, we have a large amount of single professional women from New York City who moved here because they wanted a plan for the future. And what happens if something happens in the middle of the night and you're not well? Well, we have residents that volunteer to be available 24 hours a day. That if there should be an emergency call and you need to go to the emergency room, a resident will go with you. You are not alone, and that resident will stay with you. They can come back to your apartment and get whatever you want. They can call your family members, but you will not be alone. And that's 24 hours a day. I remember when the program first started, some residents were asking me, should I sleep with my clothes on? But that is the amount of thought and love that goes into it. So that's the culture of Kendal. That is community, and that is caring. So here's the picture. There it is, the majestic Kendal on the Hudson River. So if I wasn't able to paint a picture for you, I want you to hear this.
I've traveled all over the world, and no place is as beautiful as the view from my balcony. done college on the Hudson. I've lived on the Hudson, and I love the Hudson. I love the park. And I spend hours and miles, and I like to walk a lot. And I love the fact that there's a gym here and lots of wonderful people. We came here not knowing anybody, and they were just very welcoming. People will immediately start inviting you to join them for dinner, and you very quickly have a circle of friends here. Residents here have such an incredible variety of things that they can do that it really makes life very full, or you can make it as full as you'd like it. We were very impressed, particularly by the ease at which you can get to New York from here. I think there's a lot of opera going and museum going and things, so it was quite nice to be so close. My only complaint is that the food is too good, and it's too much ice cream, and too many tempting desserts. But otherwise, we can handle. Here, I pick up the phone when something's broken, and an hour later, somebody comes up and fixes it. If I want physical therapy, I take the elevator down. If I want to go to an activity, I take the elevator up. I mean, it is so convenient. My car is there, everything is there. The IT person comes and fixes the computer and my phone immediately. It's so comfortable. It's so easy here. Yeah, and we're filling that time with fun things as opposed to home maintenance, meal preparation. And it's nice to be part of a community and have all of our friends right here. It is a Quaker philosophy organization, the integrity, the sincerity, the working with people. I think the Quaker values are very much of what I grew up with in my own family. I think you should just come and meet the people. And then I think that will help you decide if this is the kind of place for you. If you want to be part of a community, if you want to make new friends, we come down to dinner and we say, may I join you? And everyone says, yes, of course, please join us. The community will wind up, I suspect, in most cases, being some benefit that maybe will be even more important to you than you ever would have thought it was when you were looking at it from the outside.
So here we are. I think that we gave you a lot of information today, from the foundations, the fact that we are a financial tool. Kendal stands for a Type A life plan contract in a licensed life plan community in New York State, with a very financial footing, tremendous culture from our incredible residents, and an excellent caregiving system. We would love to hear from you, and we're happy to answer any questions. I left this here on the screen just for a second for you to see, but I'm going to stop sharing to see if we have any questions that we want to answer. All right, so how are we doing, Joey?
Okay, so please excuse you not seeing my live face. The camera decided to retire to a CCRC, so you just have my voice. Yeah, we do have a good number of some really good questions here. So I'll just kind of go down the line, and you'll answer each one as we go. We'll start with Lisa asked, does Type C plan have an entrance fee? Does a Type B plan?
They do, usually. There are models of independent living, that are only rentals, but when you're looking, if it's a CCRC, there are entrance fees. Yes.
Okay. Next, Stephanie asks, did the facility exist before Kendal or was it built as a Kendal? And and she added in there, the slide mentioned Quaker values. Lisa referred to Kendal values. Please clarify. So it's kind of a two-part question.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good. And they're great. They're great. No, this was if you see the picture behind Mary Kate, that big rock had to be drilled through. I mean, this was Rockefeller land. It belonged to Phelps Hospital. It was built from scratch. The residents spent the whole year of 2024 bringing in everybody that had something to do with Kendal from the when it was just a thought in somebody's head, what it took to go through to get it to opening up in 2005. I have to tell you that I slip up. Okay, I'm supposed to say Kendal values and practices, but they come from Quaker philosophy. So the first Kendal property was in Pennsylvania, and it was opened by a Quaker community. So that's how all of this started. But we have a whole book on the Kendal values and practices, and we're trained on it. And it's about inclusion, it's about community, it's about caring, it's about education and sustainability. Those are all the parts of the Kendal values and practices. Go ahead, Joe.
All right. Next, we have, oh, one second. We have John, who asks, what is the average age of new entrants and the current average age of all residents?
So our average entrance is the age is around 79, and our overall average age is 84. The range of age is 65 to 105. And remember, we are a 20-year community. So there are people living in independent living who moved in 20 years ago and are still going strong, and they moved in their early 70s.
All right. Next, Lucy asked, this may be, oh, okay, let me see here. Lucy states that they have long-term care policies. Does that affect the cost since we could use those services?
No, you still have to pay the resident fee and the life care fee, whether you have long-term care insurance or not. It's mandatory.
Okay. Next, Carol asked, how is the 33 million renovation being paid for? Also, can you provide a copy of the Fitch ratings report?
Yeah, actually, you know what? Everything we're very transparent here. Everything that happens here is very public. You can Google Fitch and Kendal on Hudson. There was a lot of to do when our rating came out about it, because it was such a good rating. But we have that. The other thing is, because here's the thing. When we received the rating, we were able to refinance the bonds, and that was the whole purpose. There's another rating system called CARF, CARF. That you're going to see a lot of properties say, "Oh, well, we're CARF approved or CARF whatever." CARF is just it's just a very light they don't even go in the finances or anything. So we said, you know what, CARF is not the real deal. Fitch is the real deal. And like I said, you have to apply to get rated by Fitch. And when we did, that enabled us to go and refinance our bonds, which enabled us to get a part of the financing is from a $20 million bond that is a really good interest rate, and that also was highly publicized in the papers too. So, but we have all of this stuff if you want it.
All right. Questions are pouring in, so I can't promise that we can get to everybody's, but we'll do the best till we can. I did notice that there are actually a handful asking about how long the wait list is,
Uh,
or
how,
more importantly, the amount
that,
of time, I guess, involved.
yeah, that is the hardest question because there's a part of that is something that's not in our control. It all depends what apartments open when, and that nobody has control over that. Sometimes, all of a sudden, for months, only one bedroom apartments are becoming available. Right now, we had a lot of two-bedroom dens become available. Um, we rule of thumb, we like to say 2 to 3 years. But I will tell you that if you are an engaged wait list member and you come and look at the apartments and you throw your hat in the ring, you have a really good chance because let's say you're number two on the list and the number one person ends up not being medically qualified. Well, we're going to go back to the number two guy and say, hey, look, you can have a shot now. So we say 2 to 3 years, but if you want, you might be able to do it a little bit quicker. And on the other end, if you're going to say, Lois, I want the fourth floor southwest two-bedroom den Riverview apartment, you're going to wait a long time for that. You have to have a broader vision of apartments because you're not only buying an apartment here. If you're going somewhere for an apartment, go get a condo or something. You're coming here because you're going to have a beautiful apartment, but you have a community and you have a life care, life plan, lifestyle. So it's more than an apartment. If you get 80 to 90% of what you want when you're looking at apartments, you're really doing well. And you don't even get that when you buy a house, I bet. Go ahead, Joe.
All right. Next, Judith asks, is there a maximum age for entering the community?
No, there isn't a maximum age, but because we medically qualified people like insurance underwriters do, I think that logically we would say that things accumulate more after age 90. Actually, things start accumulating age 80, and things, I mean, like different medical challenges. And as we age, we're going to get more. So we don't have an age that you can't come in. We have a minimum age, which is 65, but we don't have a maximum age. But you have to use common sense with that too.
Next, how does Kendall finance the cost of long-term care, which is much more expensive than the monthly service fee?
So it comes from entrance fees. It comes from monthly service fees because your monthly service fees are all prepaid medical. Um, when you pay an entrance fee, the first 3 months it's in an escrow account because that's like your trial period. So if you're unhappy and you want to leave in that first 90 days, you can, and you'll get all your money back. But then after that, it goes into the general fund and then it's invested. It's invested according to guidelines of the New York State Department of Health and Finance. So it's invested in low risk investments, and all of that goes to contribute to the long-term care. And we've been doing a good job of it for 20 years. My daughter said something to me, and how we learn a lot of stuff from our kids. We learn how to use our cell phone and computer. She said to me, Mom, never buy first generation anything. She goes, let it get the kinks out first. So we have had 20 years to get rid of our kinks. And I think we did a pretty good job. Go ahead, Joey.
All right. This is a good one. What happens if a resident can no longer pay monthly fees due to a spouse's death or other sudden change?
Oh, good question. Um, the contract that you sign has a clause called guaranteed lifetime residency. So when you become a resident of Kendal, you never have to leave if your finances change. We will pay your monthly service fee. You have care for life here. And that's the reason why we are careful with financial qualifications. We want to make sure that people can live here without any financial burden. Because listen, we're a not-for-profit. We're very cautious about our expenses. There's even a resident committee that's called the Finance Committee that sees all the finances here and where the money is spent. Because when we're spending money, we're spending residents' money. It all goes into one pot. So we don't want people to become financially burdened while they're living here. But if you do, through no fault of your own, now look, you can't come here and then go to Vegas and have a great big party. That doesn't work. But if through no fault of your own, your funds have depleted themselves, you never have to leave.
All right, next. Someone's asking about if a husband and wife can spend a few days at Kendal and Hudson to meet residents before applying.
Yes. So we have something called a try-it stay. It's usually a 1 or 2 night stay where you can have meals with residents. You can see the happenings. Because of the amount of time that we spent with try-it stays, we like to see that you're either a waitlist person or we know that you're going to be medically and financially qualified for that try-it stay. I do have to say that when we start the renovations in May, it may be a little difficult because we have guest suites here. They're like hotel rooms, but those will be limited during the renovation time. So we might be a little limited, but nothing is impossible. That's what I'm famous for. I'm a famous problem solver. So we can always talk about it. Right, Joey?
Absolutely. Next, let's see. Actually, I can answer this one pretty easily. Someone was asking where they can go online to see the floor plans. What you want to do is you want to go to Kohud, that's KOHUD Kendal.org, that's ORG, and close to the top of the page, there's these little headings, and you want to click on the one that says planning. That will bring down a drop-down box, and from there you can click on floor plans, and that'll bring you to the appropriate page on the website, and it shows you a floor plan for every model that we have. Next, how many residents are in each level of care? How many beds are in nursing level?
So we have 222 independent living apartments. In assisted living, there's 36 for assisted living plus 13 for memory care. And then skilled nursing is 26. So that's how the whole thing rounds out.
Great. Next, I want to paraphrase because it's kind of a long question. They want to know if we have a sense of the ratio of same-sex couples versus non-same-sex couples.
I can't say that there's enough to create a ratio, but we do. We do have same-sex couples. As a matter of fact, a same-sex couple moved here close to 20 years ago, so it's nothing new to Kendal. And all of the Kendals, of course, Kendal on Hudson, with the Quaker philosophy, has arms open to everyone. We're very religiously diverse. We have people here from India, from South America, from different countries in Europe, from Asia, I mean, Japan. So, and we do have same-sex couples, and everybody here is welcome. Uh, I can't say that we look at everybody. We just treat everybody the same. That's who we are. And there's a beautiful video if you go on our website on the home page and you scroll down to the bottom. If I'm in the right spot, Joey, it's the DEIB video. You're going to see people that work here and what they have to say about our diversity and everything. It really is beautiful.
Yes, you can also kind of similar to how I explained the floor plans, that navigation row near the top of the page, you can go to the values and then welcoming diversity. And it has all sorts of information, including that video. Next question. Do you pay each time a maintenance worker comes?
What is it? You pay?
Do you pay each time a maintenance worker comes?
No, no, no. Maintenance is included. So, but let's say you bought a desk from IKEA and you want them to assemble it, then you would pay. But if there's any maintenance to the apartment, leaky faucet, change a light bulb, a window is a little tight, anything like that, that we take care of that. If something happens to an appliance, we'll fix it or replace it. So you have nothing to worry about that.
Let's see. How many meals are included in independent living fee? Well, there's two questions there. We'll save the other question in a little bit. But yeah, how many meals are included in the independent living fee?
There's one meal a day in independent living, but if ever you need assisted living, skilled nursing, or whatever, you automatically get 3 meals a day at no extra charge.
Okay. What do you do if your skilled nursing area reaches capacity, and has that ever happened?
It has not happened to my knowledge. Again, as I said earlier, it's managed by very carefully watching who is moving into Kendal on Hudson, as to really keep independent living as an independent living community that will service anything that happens along the way. So we really haven't had a bottleneck. I mean, if we were approving people with these diagnoses, these progressive diagnoses, we would be taxing the system because of longevity. You see, that's the whole thing. You got to look at it in reverse. People are living longer, so we have not had a problem. But so let's say we would then place someone in another long-term care community at our expense until the space was open. That is like the backup plan, but we haven't had to use the backup plan.
Yeah, I'm learning stuff in this Q&A too, so I really like this. Next question. Do you accept mobility challenged but mentally top-notch people?
So mobility challenged has to do with, like, if in an emergency, would you be able to exit the building? Mobility challenges could be a lot. That would be determined at the time of the medical assessment, because the medical team sees you for the medical assessment after you fill out the applications, and they have all different levels. So that's a little tough question to answer right now. But yeah, you can move in. That's not a problem, but it depends, if it has an impact on your ability to transfer, to leave in an emergency, stuff like that.
All right. Next question. I think this is a pretty good one. How does KOH limit access to non-residents? Keys, key cards. How does the internal security respond to concerns?
Okay. All doors, there's a lot of doors at Kendal, and the only way you can get in from the outside is with a key fob that only residents have. The main entrance has it's staffed 24 hours a day, but at 9 o'clock at night, the door is locked. We do have a sign-in system and we do have cameras. So we're always looking. Uh, there really hasn't been security issues here. Um, I even know too many people don't lock their doors too. Not because I'm not saying that because there's a problem, but it's because there's a sense of security here. Go ahead, Joey.
All right, next, is transportation to local medical appointments included in the fee?
Yes, as long as it's in a 15-mile radius. We offer transportation to doctors, dentists. We have 2 buses. We take folks shopping twice a week, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods. We'll take you to the bank, the post office. You just sign up in the book and we got you. You just, as long as it's within the time of the driving schedules. Go ahead, Joe.
All right, just anybody has a question, please submit it in the Q&A. If you raise your hand, all I can see is that you raised your hand, and someone in in this webinar just tried to call me, but I can't answer the phone because I got to have this going on. Yeah, she just raised her hand again. Yeah, please submit your question to the Q&A, and if for some reason you can't make that happen, I'll be happy to reach out to you and find out what your question is and make sure it gets answered for you. And that looks like that was the last question, unless someone. Oh, wait. Oh, here we go. I figured if I said that, a couple more might pop in.
Yeah.
Oh, these are very similar questions. Great. So, is there parking available if you choose to keep a car? And if so, is it an extra cost?
Yes. So parking. So we have 4 different buildings here. There's underground parking in each building, so it's covered. And there is a cost for it. I believe $83 a month.
All right. What is the rule regarding pets?
We love your pets. We have a variety of pets here now, dogs, cats. We love our fuzzy friends. There's no worries with that. I think Joey, and Mary Kate, we had great questions here today, right? I love it. Good group of people. I really enjoyed. I would love to meet all of you. I hope that we met your expectations for today. We're really grateful that you took the time to spend with us. And I hope that I gave you enough ammunition that if you're out there doing discovery, you're going to be able to walk into any type of retirement community and ask all the right questions that you need to make the decision that's right for you. With that said, please stay warm, and come and visit us. Take care. Have a beautiful day.